All right, welcome back to the podcast, guys. Today we're joined by Cassidy, who is actually the chief marketing officer of what law firm, Cassidy? Do you want to say?
Sure. Cooper Hurley Injury Lawyers, the car crash experts.
The car crash experts. You heard it, guys. So, welcome to Cases and Connect, Cassidy. Why don't we start by you telling a bit about yourself, what you guys do at that law firm, and what you guys may be special in?
Sure. So I am the chief marketing officer here at the firm. I've been here going on 8 years. We're located in Hampton Roads, Virginia. So Virginia Beach is the primary city out here. We have 9 locations and we focus on car accidents. We are a personal injury firm. We primarily handle car, truck, and motorcycle accidents. We also do some premises and liability cases, and we do some railroad and FILA cases.
Beautiful. And just to get straight into it, Cassidy, I know you mentioned you are a kind of an accident attorney firm. Uh, what's your guys' like ideal client, and one thing you wish more clients understood about injury attorneys and what it's like to work, sorry, with injury attorneys?
Sure. So, our ideal client. So, first and foremost, we only do injury law. That's all we do day in, day out. So our clients are the ones that were not at fault. They were the ones that were injured in the accident and not at fault. Typically, we like for the client to have health insurance, to have car insurance for sure, because that's how we can make sure that we get them the appropriate value for their injuries. Um, One thing that I wish that clients knew is that they should call a lawyer after an accident. Until you get into the injury world, you don't know how hard the insurance companies fight against you. You don't know how often they lowball clients. And so, again, I've been here 8 years, so yes, it's been a long time. But pre working at Cooper Hurley Injury Lawyers, if I was injured in an accident, I think I just call my insurance company, right? That's why I pay insurance, so that they can make sure that I'm taken care of post accident. But that's not what happens. And so I wish more clients knew how impactful it is to reach out to an injury attorney after their accident, and then just how easy it is.
Right. So your clients should be reaching out to attorneys the first thing, and that actually um, reminds me that there are so many. I don't even know if they're companies, but I get these ads sometimes. It's like, hey, if you've if you've been in an accident within the last 30 days, don't call a lawyer. Use this app actually, and it will do X and Y and Z for you. Have you guys ever had any clients talk about that kind of that company or whatever organization that's running those kinds of ads where they're saying, "Hey, use this AI or use this app, and it's gonna help you with your accident case." Yeah,
AI trying to help you was one of the worst days of
right.
your life. I wouldn't. Oh gosh, no, we haven't, but that doesn't mean that it won't be soon.
Right, right. Yeah, no, I maybe it's a California thing. We're actually based in Los Angeles, as I mentioned earlier. So, yeah, there's actually an AI and there's an app that people are claiming, hey, you're entitled to big compensation without all the other attorney's fees. A lot of people have been drawn to that recently. Is I know you haven't been familiarized with it like within past few days, but what would be your advice for a client that has seen this kind of ad, is thinking about it because obviously they're probably in a deal or an ordeal with an insurance company, and they want the entitlement to the big payout.
Right? Yeah. No, again, I'm not familiar with the app, so I can't speak towards it. But
Mm,
anything, anybody telling you not to go to a trusted advisor, you probably wanna stay away from. You know what I mean? Like, it's kinda one of those you know what it sounds like to me? Like, your friend telling you something, but like, "Yeah, don't tell mom." You know what I mean? Like, you know it's bad. Like, if I
yeah,
can't tell my mom, you know it's bad, and if some app is saying, "Hey, don't call a trusted attorney with years of experience, knowledge," yeah, it just sounds bad, but again, I'm not familiar with it. I can't, speak on it for sure. I don't know what it is.
right. No, I 100% agree with you. It's a funny analogy to use. It's like your friend at school trying to, "Hey, do this, do that." It's like, "What is that?" Right. Yeah, but other than that, I know we've been on the subject of clients, and, your ideal client, what they should be doing. What would you guys say your biggest challenge in growing your practice over the year has been?
Well, transparently, we've grown a lot. It's not I know some people may say, "Oh, competition," but there are enough car accidents out there for everybody. I think probably you know what? The biggest challenge is probably getting people to understand that they need a lawyer. There's data out there that says 50 to 60% of people that could use a lawyer after their accident never ever call one. So I think that that's our biggest hurdle is making sure that people know who we are, what we do, and how to contact us. I think people can be intimidated by an attorney, by that esquire, and they're regular people. They're regular people that are attorneys that help people after an accident. And so I'd probably say that that's the biggest hurdle to injury lawyers and growth.
Right. It's the practice of not reaching out to an attorney, especially when you need one the most after the accident. Oh, that's interesting. I kind of would have imagined, a lot of attorneys that we see, they post on like LinkedIn, on Instagram, uh, for engagement and trying to get signed cases out of those. And the attorney we spoke to last week said the qualification aspect of that too was actually the problem. So they were getting leads, is what we'd call them in the marketing space, but they technically weren't qualified in the sense that they could have been out of statute. You know, the liability is not clear. So that has been a, I guess, trending, qualification issue that lawyers have been having. So when you guys do, get leads of some sort, do you guys happen to have that problem too sometimes?
Well, we found out early that social media was not the place to get leads,
Mm,
auto leads. There are some caveats to this, certain cultures, like the Spanish speaking community, you can do this with. But for us, it doesn't happen. And I think it's because legal marketing is still marketing, and you have to appreciate the consumer, what they're thinking, what's happening. When you are scrolling on Facebook, are you going to look for a lawyer or are you scrolling mindlessly? And you can see an ad that pops up and it does apply to you, but you're not giving that a lot of thought, right? Hiring a lawyer is a very high intention buy, right? So you have low intention buys that are like eating a sandwich, going somewhere to find a sandwich. And then you have these high intention buys, hiring a lawyer, buying a home, things like that. And so if you have this high intentional buy, but this low intention investment at the lead space, it's not gonna work out. It's the same thing that can happen with a lot of lead generation companies. You know what I mean? It's like, call us right now." Call us like, "Oh, yeah, I'm not doing anything else. I might as well call." As opposed to people that are doing research, right? That are saying, "I want to make sure that I'm going to, be in partnership with an attorney that has good reviews, that's gonna treat me right, that has the knowledge and the experience." So we found that I didn't know why it was, but I remember one time we got like 11 leads off Facebook and only one answered. Like we had people hanging up on us, people saying they'd never called us, people saying we had the wrong number. And it's just because they didn't put any thought or intentionality in filling out that Facebook form. So again, we are in the space where we know that we are where clients want to actually hire us, not they just see us and, "Oh, let me click this and maybe I'll fill it out, maybe I won't."
well, well, appreciate you sharing that. That's actually, yeah, that's so it sounds like an intent kind of um issue as well. So I know like the lawyer we spoke with, it was really like more like the technicality of like just not being eligible for a service, but I guess also, lawyers are struggling with, would you say, finding the right kind of leads that have the right intent, meet the qualification criteria, and are actually willing to trust an attorney and not micromanage and look for things like that AI and that app that I mentioned. I think that's the biggest struggling right now when it comes to lawyers trying to grow and, finding the clients that will actually work with the lawyer and not micromanage and are actually eligible to have a legit claim. I think that has been the biggest challenge so far in speaking with attorneys this year. Would you say? Would you agree with that?
Say that part say it again?
Like, I think the biggest struggle attorneys are having right now is finding leads who are not only qualified in the personal injury sense, but actually have the right intent to work with a lawyer because there's a lot of things, that like that AI and like that app that kinda persuade them and take them the other way, you know?
Yeah, 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 yeah,
Mhm.
right.
Yeah, and as a, chief marketing officer, um, are you always talking to these leads? Are you calling these leads or
No, no, we're
Okay,
not customer facing. The
okay,
intake team handles that. But I listen to a lot of intake calls. I listen to intake calls pretty regularly.
okay. And what's one lesson you've learned that changed how you guys approach, like, your intake leads or, like, how you, try to convert them from a lead to, like, a client?
Mm, that just because they call doesn't mean they're convinced that they need an attorney. It's
Mm,
step one. We say, oh yeah, they're at the bottom of the funnel. But they need to be educated. If you strip marketing of everything, it's education. It's teaching the consumer why they need to buy your services and why you're the best fit, right? And
right,
so I think that legal marketing being a high intent buy is we have to do a really good job at educating the client.
right. So when they're educated, they can make an informed, decision, right? This doesn't make sense if they yeah. And with that being said, is there ever a time where you guys had to work with a lead who had the right intent, but, they're qualified in the sense of that they have a valuable case. They wanna work with a lawyer, but, they've been I guess it's been hard to work with them. Maybe they wanted to do it in kind of their way, or, they wanna, like I said, micromanage in a way.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean from our side, these our clients are dealing with something terrible. And it's for especially the bigger cases, it's one of the worst days of their life, right? The one of the worst periods of their life. So we take that into consideration where they want to make sure that, these hundreds of thousands of dollars of bills sometimes will be handled. Or even if it's a few thousand, like you want to make sure that it's going to be handled. So we take all of that into consideration.
Right, and I think it also really comes down to building a strong relationship with your guys' clients at the end of the day that will help, you know? How has that been beneficial for you guys in ensuring that your guys' clients are happy, that they're satisfied with, the work that you guys have done down there?
Yeah. It builds trust. So when you have a relationship, when you create an impressive client experience, it builds trust so that in those times where the client wants to micromanage more, they say, you know what, this paralegal has it, this attorney has it, but building trust is so important for any client experience. And I think for us as law firms, even more so.
Right, right. Yeah, sometimes law firms are kinda they follow maybe a system of protocol, and it's more automatic or systematic than rather, like, actually caring for the client and their personal life. So, I think that can be a big differentiation for a lot of law firms. So, that being said, how have you guys differentiated your guys selves from other, injury law firms, within your guys' area or maybe on a general scale?
I think that one of our biggest differentiators that all we do is personal injury law. A lot of law firms or a lot of injury lawyers that they handle criminal defense, they handle a few different things. Um, I think that, I'm always hesitant about saying it, but we did create an impressive client experience. Client experience is not just everybody is really nice. You know what I mean? It's
Right.
making sure that the legal teams have the tools they need to actually build out this very impressive client experience. And that comes with the things that the clients see and the things they do not see. Like we have a policy, like if our legal assistants want to do a CLE or become more knowledgeable in addition to what we're already providing internally, go do it. We want you to be the most knowledgeable. So there, same thing for our attorneys. We want you to be the most knowledgeable, the most experienced. However we foster that, we will foster it. So I believe that our biggest differentiator is our intent, using that word again with our clients, our intentionality.
Right. And that's a great answer. Intent can go a long way when your client feels that they've been understood. That's when the trust is really made. And that's really great. And also regarding your guys' clients, what's a common misconceptual conception people have about maybe lawyers that you wish you could change? Because I know we have at least what we're seeing as well is that people have a problem with micromanaging when it comes to their lawyers, trusting their lawyers, and you guys obviously have done a good job in showing intention in your relationship with your clients. So, what would you say if you can tell a potential client that wants to work with you guys, who maybe is not sure about letting you guys hold their hand through their injury case. What would you think their biggest misconception is, and how you guys would handle or take care of that for them?
Sure. I think the industry as a whole, it's thought that clients can handle it on their own, as if the attorneys won't be any additional help, and it's just not true.
Right. So
It's
that's why it really comes down to the educating them, and how making them have enough education to make informed decisions. What does that look like for you guys when, you're trying to offer them the education they need so they can actually be confident, in their decision to work with you guys?
Sure. So easiest things are client testimonials. We have loads of those, client reviews, client testimonials, but we also look to be fact based. Like, hey, look, this is what the data shows you are to get if you work with a law firm. And then we use real case results too. Hey, look, the insurance company offered our client X, we got them Y. This was 10 times more. So a mix of the storytelling piece, like with client reviews, and the data for us.
Right. There you go. And knowing that, I guess, when they do decide that they have enough information to make a decision, what do you guys expect they need to do to hold up their end of the relationship, the client attorney relationship, to ensure that their case is going to be taken care of in the best way possible and that you guys are at the best probability of winning the case? Say, reaches litigation, say, the insurance is still restricting a payout of some sort to them. What do they need to do on their end in order to make the relationship beneficial and productive?
Well, to continue to be involved in the process and take your attorney's advice. Right.
100%.
So here at Cooper Hurley Injury Lawyers, our attorneys are experienced. Our attorneys have the knowledge. Our attorneys have been to trial. You know what I mean? Our
Yeah,
trial
yeah.
attorneys have been to trial. So I think taking your lawyer's advice is important. If it's
Right.
if you got really sick, you wouldn't go ask your plumber, you'd ask your doctor. And I think the same applies here. We're talking about litigation. If we're talking about anything within the legal process, you want a trusted advisor, and your attorney is that.
Mhm. 100%. And kind of rewinding back, to I guess when the partners at this law firm were just graduating law school, what do you think after working with them for 8 years, what do you think they would tell their youngest selves post law school, uh, about becoming a lawyer? What kind of advice do you think they would have given themselves? And, we're talking about growth anyway, so, you stepping into this position as a chief marketing officer or yeah, for this law firm, for the first time, what advice would you have given yourself as well?
Uh, I've heard lawyers say this from a growth perspective, from a business standpoint, not necessarily in regards to the law, would be to, if you own a law firm, hire a marketer sooner. You can't do it. You can't. And it is an investment. Um, but you can't do it yourself. You just can't. You will
100%.
accelerate your growth if and when you do that. I think for myself, coming into the industry, I had a fair amount of experience before I got in with different industries. Legal marketing is different. There are a lot of consumer rules that apply because consumer behavior is consumer behavior. However, there's some things that are just very, very unique, a fair amount of nuances within legal marketing.
Right.
100%. Legal marketing has so many regulations and like, you know, you can only offer so much advice. If it starts becoming legal advice and you're just a marketer, then you're breaking, rules of sorts because you're not licensed to offer advice, particularly legal expertise. So that definitely
No, I
finding
would
your
never
fit
even
makes
be on
sense.
the phone. I'm not even trying to offer any
Right.
advice, legal advice,
Right.
pseudo legal advice, paralegal advice, none of it.
But where can your guys' potential clients, if they want to work with you guys, find you guys to schedule consultations where they can get legal advice?
Sure. Free consultations. You can call us at 757-333-3333, and our website is cooperhurley.
There you go. And kind of just to also rewind our market question, the importance of lawyers, even off the bat, even as soon as they graduate law school, having a set marketing strategy of some sort, be it hiring a marketer, having a marketing team. What would you guys say the best marketing practices are for you guys? Like, was there any specific platform like Facebook ads or something like that, or any tech that
No,
helped you
database
guys?
marketing. Database marketing.
Database marketing.
Database marketing. Fill your database, former clients, current clients, intakes, attorneys, business contacts, and market to them
It's kinda like tapping into your guys' existing network, and further expanding it
easily.
easily. Has that also produced you guys with the best quality of clients?
Oh, yeah,
There you go.
easily.
That's super nice. So, how about for, uh, maybe people in marketing that wanna work for a legal market I mean, the legal industry for a law firm one day? What advice would you give them after being a, chief, marketing officer for the past 8 years?
Um, well, because I own a business called the CMO Academy, I'm going to say go to the CMOacademy.com and learn legal marketing. And I say that, as a plug for sure, but I think that most of the legal marketing education is geared towards attorneys out there. You got to go get educated on legal marketing because again, legal marketing breaks rules. So if you're interested, it's not I came in very arrogantly into the industry. It's not like other marketing that you've done. You need to go get educated on what we have and on the crazy world of legal.
Right. Like, cause there's so many rules, so many regulations you gotta follow. There's nuances, even and it's not just subject to the law, but, like, each part of the law, like personal injury, there's people who wanna market for business litigation attorneys, IP attorneys, right? So, each niche has, like, its own little nuance that, people have to understand and follow, make sure they're complying by it.
Right. Yep. You're right.
Right. And have any of your lawyers, are your guys' firm is only injury firm, right? Is only a personal injury attorney firm. So you guys, for however long you guys have been up, have only solely focused on finding clients who have been in like car accidents, or what does that look like? Is it specifically car accidents, or is it like wrongful death even?
Yeah,
What
so
does it
it's
look like for you
car
guys?
accidents, motorcycle accidents, trucking accidents, wrongful death. We do railroad, so injured on the Amtrak, but also FILA, which are the employees of the railroad. And then we do premises, do some dog bite.
And where would you guys say most of your clients come from all of those practices?
We handle primarily auto accidents, but auto includes truck, motorcycle, ride share, all of those.
Rideshare. What would a rideshare accident look like? Is it like, you're in an Uber and you kind of just get in a car accident? Is that what a rideshare means?
Yeah, primarily the passenger of the Uber accident, but it could be the Uber driver too if somebody hit them.
Right. Okay. And just regarding my question about, which niche of PI has produced the most volume of clients for you guys, what would you say the biggest trend you're noticing is in the maybe not even just the PI legal world right now, but maybe working with so many lawyers, like the whole legal field right now? Maybe in terms of marketing, maybe in terms of what kind of cases are, the most popular types of cases as of recent that you've seen, maybe.
I think that if we're talking about cases that we've seen, you see the cases in your firm will come based off what you market for. So we've been um marketing around motorcycle accidents more, so we see more motorcycle accidents. That doesn't mean that there are more motorcycle accidents on the road per se. But so if you are looking to get into a niche within injury law, market for it, talk about it, ask for it.
Right. Okay. And we're nearing the end of the podcast here, so we pretty much have covered, the many niches in PI law, what clients should be doing in order to be the best kind of client they can be, and also make sure their case it has a higher probability of winning. What the lawyer needs to do, what kind of education that they need to offer. Is there any last things that you'd like to say, maybe regarding your guys' law firm down there, or after being a chief marketing officer for about 8 years? Any last remarks? I know people can find you at that number that you said earlier. Maybe is there a website, anything like that?
Yeah, so my last words, if you're injured in an accident in Virginia, give us a call. But also, if you're an attorney and listen to that podcast and you want a Virginia referral partner, we'd love to have that conversation with you. It wouldn't be me, it'd be one of the partners here at the firm. But we have a wonderful referral network. So if you're interested in that, make sure to give us a call, 757-333-3333. Or you can go to refer to cooperhurley.com for the attorneys.
Perfect. Well, that's all for today, everyone. Thank you, Mrs. Lewis, for joining us today on this episode. That's Cases and Connect for you guys, and we'll see you in the next episode.